Hi viewers, welcome to another edition of Mary Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host, Moralaya Ann Okuti. I would like to say congratulations to everyone. We all made it to a new month of August. So welcome to the month of August. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Mary Clinic Live. Thank you for your participation. Always, please do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are yet to do so, and kindly click on the like button if you do like this video. So today we'll be bringing you a very interesting topic which says handling premarital pregnancy and overcoming the challenges that comes with it. Now, I know that some people are familiar with this topic, especially parents and maybe young ones. I'm sure that in the all over the world there would have been a time where you find out that your teenage child or your teenage girl or boy, got themselves into premarital activity, and before you knew it, pregnancy happened. I mean, it's not a pleasant experience to live through, but somehow it does happen. I mean, we've seen where parents are strict on their children. They tell them, see, make sure you don't go sleeping around, make sure you don't go doing this, but somehow the one or two of the children might still come back with pregnancy. And the question is, okay, so if this happens, I mean, we don't pray it happens, but from everything we can see going on around, or it does happen at times. So if this happen as a parent, what should you do? And you as the person involved, what should you also do? I mean, is it the end of life? Is it what taking your life over? Is it a death sentence or a death warrant, so to speak? How should you handle it? How should you cope with it? And even as a parent, how do you help that child to overcome the challenges that come with it so that they can still end up becoming someone in life and still live their dream life in the nearest future? So I have with me someone with a first-hand experience of this issue. I mean, she has been through it in the past, and she was able to come out of it in a very good way. The way she was able to handle it, and she was able to overcome the challenges that comes with it. So today, she would like to share her experiences with us, and I want to believe we'll be learning one or two things, from this interaction today. So I have with me in the house Funmilila Benco-Okoye, who will be talking to us about this issue. So thanks, Funmilola, for joining us. Thank you for
My pleasure,
accepting
ma'am. My pleasure, ma'am.
our invitation, to come
Yes,
on
ma'am.
Marriage Clinic Live. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, ma'am. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so let's go straight to the questions for the
Yeah.
day. You have been through that experience before, like we are talking about handling premarital pregnancy and
Yeah.
overcoming the challenges that comes with it. I mean, you have been in that shoes before. You passed through that experience. So I would like to start by asking, what was it like? Was it a pleasant experience for you to get pregnant while you were still in school, or while you were still in uni, or as a teenager? I mean, what was your experience like?
Well, yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience at all. It's something I didn't wish for, but it happened. But then it wasn't something I wanted. It wasn't something I wanted. It wasn't something I planned. It wasn't, yes, of course, I was in school. So it wasn't something that probably I sat down, I said, okay, I wanted to get pregnant. But then it happened. And it didn't just happen, though. It didn't just happen. But yeah, I found myself in this situation. And when it happened, I was like, okay, here I am. What do I do? What's the next thing? I didn't dwell on this situation. Probably if I dwelled if I had dwell more in this situation, probably I won't be here. But then when it happened, something I didn't plan for, it wasn't good. It wasn't something that I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't something I was proud of myself. And when it happened, I was like, okay, what's the next thing? What do I do from here? Where do I go from here? And I came up with several things, telling my parents about it first. Though it wasn't something I could handle on my own because I knew where I was coming from. So it wasn't something okay joyfully. You understand? It's not
Yeah.
something joyfully that I went home to go and say.
Mm.
So it wasn't a pleasant one at all. It wasn't a pleasant one because it was awful, kind of. So
Nice.
when it happened and I went home to say it.
Okay, so considering you mentioned that your parents were the street type, that they are
Yeah.
very strict, they are disciplinarian, that they've trained you, not to
Mhm.
get yourself involved sexually, before
Yeah.
marriage, they've educated you, they've done all that they needed to do for a girl child, to put
Yes.
you through. So
Mhm.
what still prompted you to defy probably their own training or advice to you in this regard? What made you say, you know what, even though my parents have told me so much about this thing, I still want to experience it. I still
Mm.
want to go have a taste of it. So, what made you
Wow.
probably
Okay.
neglect that their own voice of discipline to you, and made you go ahead to still engage yourself in such premarital sexual activities, despite the fact that you know that your parents are the strict type and you would not like it?
Well. First of all, I would say, it wasn't something I planned for. So it wasn't like I wanted it. Do you understand? And it
Yeah.
wasn't that.
Mm.
So yeah. So it's not something I said, okay, I want to get pregnant. It's something that came. I wouldn't know what prompted me. Probably, well, I wouldn't, okay, like they will say, probably I didn't fear them enough, or something. I would say youthful exuberance.
Or
Do you
maybe peer
understand?
pressure.
Youthful exuberance. Then
Peer
probably
pressure.
not pressure. Now I didn't have
Okay.
any no no no
Okay.
no no peer pressure from them. Nothing like that. But then I would say probably I didn't fear them enough. Then disobedience. That's just the word. Disobedience, then youthful exuberance. Probably I just
Mm.
wanted to explore
Mm.
something I didn't know was going to be huge like this. You
Mm.
understand? So I think that's just it.
Okay, so when you found out that you were pregnant, um, what were the thoughts running through your mind? Did you feel like, okay, you want to commit suicide? Did you feel like, oh, this is the end of my life? I don't think I'm worth anything anymore. I mean, how were you feeling when you discovered you were
Okay.
pregnant?
Mm. Like I said something earlier, I said when I got pregnant, when I discovered that I was pregnant, I was scared at first. Oh, I didn't want this. Ha, I wouldn't have done this. Those were the feelings I had.
Mm.
But then, knowing that there is nothing, there is really nothing I can do out with it. I couldn't just, okay, I attempted aborting, but it didn't work. Do you
Mm.
understand? Because I didn't want to live the life that came after. Do you understand? I saw it, And the fear of going to my parents to go and tell them, ha, it's not something I wanted to do. Do you understand? It's not something I wanted to do. So I was scared. I said, what could be happening to me? You know, I was scared. I was not feeling okay with myself. I was
but
not
did
proud
you
of
feel
myself.
like, yeah, but
Do
did
you
you
understand?
feel
I
like,
wasn't proud of myself.
yeah,
And
but did you feel like committing
you said,
suicide? Did you feel like committing suicide as a result of the experience, or you felt like, okay, you can still move on or go on with life?
yeah, I thought to myself that, okay, this is not the end of the road for me. If I can tell my parents, if I can succeed at telling my parents and still feel remorseful, then
Yeah.
probably I could just kill through. Do you understand? If I could just tell my parents, if I could just, I didn't know the way forward. I didn't know the way forward, but I knew that there was something that could happen.
Mm.
Do you understand? I wasn't
Yeah.
suicidal. I wasn't saying to myself, this is the end of the road. Do you
Mm.
understand? So I
Yeah.
just fought forward. I didn't know what was in there for me, but I just said, okay, let me just tell them. If I can tell them, let's see what happened. So I was just
So,
living the moment.
so when you told
Do you
them, what
understand?
was,
I
yeah, so when you told them, what was their reaction like towards
They
the
felt
issue?
bad. It wasn't okay. I didn't tell them directly. I had to go and tell my grandpa first. Then
Mm.
my grandpa called my grandma, then called everybody. Do you understand? Because I couldn't face my mom directly and telling her, oh, I'm pregnant, oh, daddy, I'm pregnant. So it's not something I could do. So I
Mm.
had to just go through someone that went through someone, because even everybody, they were shocked that, wow, really, this happened. So it's not something I just went there to go and tell them. so so it was awful, but they
Okay.
took it. My mom cried, my dad felt disappointed, and they were like, okay, here it is. And
Mm.
that was the beginning of a new life for me,
Mm.
a
Okay.
new journey for me
Yeah,
after telling them.
but considering that it happened while you were in school, did it affect your education or in any way delayed, your educational progress and achievement?
Okay, probably if I was in the secondary school, it would have delayed my education. But then I was in my university. I was in my second year. I studied diploma in law. So I was writing my exam when it happened. Do you understand? So I was about finishing that part of my education. So
Mm.
when I gave birth, it was still during the whole registration. Okay, yeah. When I finished diploma, I couldn't do the law. I couldn't go further. I knew before then that I wasn't going to go further with law. I was going to do something else. So it wasn't because I got pregnant, that's why I changed my course. No. It was because I didn't want to do it again. And the fact that I just finished writing my exams, so it afforded me that time with the next registration, afforded me, it was within the time frame of registering for another course,
Of course.
waiting
Okay.
for another course, another year. So I didn't have to wait for long. Do you understand? I discovered that I got pregnant. I discovered the first month, but not until the third month. That was when I went to go and tell them. So it wasn't 6 months later, I had had my child. So I had to now go back for the next registration, which was still within the time frame. So it didn't disturb my education. It
Okay,
didn't
but how were
disturb. It didn't
you?
disturb the what I wanted to do educationally. But
Okay,
if it
but
was in the secondary
it will
school, I'm sure it would
prolong it.
have. I would have waited more.
Okay, but I think that it will prolong it in the sense that there is no way you were going to
Did you
be
hear that?
I said that I think that it will prolong the number of years you should have spent in school or in university, because there was no way you could have been breastfeeding a baby and at the same time you are in the classroom. It won't be possible to do that. So definitely
Okay.
somehow it would impact on that child's education, whichever way we want to look at it. You may
Mm,
still end up doing the course you want to do,
yeah,
but
I
some
couldn't.
rather than
I
spending
didn't
2 years or 4 years, the,
Mm-hmm.
the child will end up spending 5 or 6 years. So which shows that
Okay.
somehow it will impact
Yes,
on it.
somehow it affected me. Yes, somehow it did affect me because I was going to go. I was supposed to do a a full time. A full time. I ended up doing a part time program. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So I ended up doing a part time program, full time program. So
Okay, so I think
that was
that
it.
is clear. Okay, so that is clear enough. So another question is, how did your friends or your peers in school, how did they see it, or your friends, your
They all
neighbors?
ran away.
They all ran away. Like, they all
Ran
ran
away
away.
from me.
They all ran
I'm
away like
telling
they
you,
had
they ran
leprosy.
away. They didn't want to associate with me. They thought
Wow.
that was good. Actually, they thought that was going to be the end of everything. I think
Mm.
that's what they thought. So they all ran away from me. Every of my friends then, all
Mm.
of my friends,
And some
just
parents,
two, of
will
course.
even
Some
tell their children that, see, oh, that particular girl, I don't want to see you near her.
please don't play
Don't
with
play
that.
with
Oh.
the bad influence. Don't play with her. I don't want to see you near her. Why? Because
I'm
she
telling you.
she got
Yeah, I
in.
think that happened.
Okay, so another question
Yes,
is,
it happened that way.
yeah.
Yes,
So
it
another
happened.
question.
It happened. Some left me, and I just had two friends that stood with me all through the time, but it wasn't
Most,
like that.
yeah,
But
most
every other person,
you won't find
they took
them. Yeah, which is normal. I mean, that is human beings for
very
you.
normal.
So
Yeah.
so another thing is that so when the whole thing happened, so what was the guy who got you into this trouble or into this issue? What was he doing? What was his response like, or his reaction? Was he equally going through all the pain, all the stigma, that you were going through, or he was busy walking freely as though nothing has happened?
Well, I wouldn't know. Probably if he was walking freely, I can't really say that part. But then he owned up. So that's all that matters to me and my parents. He owned up. So I wouldn't know. But then there is one thing I really know that happened to him. They couldn't tell the father. You understand? They couldn't tell the father because it was really I think I can't really say that part anyways, but they couldn't tell the father. Do you understand? He wasn't
Yeah.
working freely. Wasn't working freely. Honestly, he wasn't working freely. But then I think he suffered some type of stigma too. Yeah. But then I can only say for myself.
Hmm. Okay, so how did you now rise? So how did you now rise above the challenges? I mean, how were you able to come out of it such that now you are bold enough to talk about it? What is giving you that? confidence or that drive that, you know what, this is not the end of my life. There is still more to life ahead of me. You know, I can still live the kind of life I want. I can still live my dream life, you know, regardless of this failure on my part or in my past,
Yeah.
regardless of the fall. You know, I can see that you've picked up yourself and you are now towing the path that you would normally like to walk in. So, how were you able to do that?
Yeah. The love I received from the people, my family, the love that I received from them, the support. That support part of it is not as if they just wanted to, they just felt like, okay, let's just support her. But I felt like they knew that I had so many things that I would be facing on my own. You understand? They didn't just want to add theirs to it. So I wouldn't say they just felt like, okay, let me just support her. So I think it was a decision they had to, and they felt that I still had a future. You understand? Even for the fact that I failed, because it's just a phase that would go. You understand? I think they understood that part. So the
Mm.
support, the love that I had from the family, and the fact that I'm the type that do not care about what people say. You understand? And I felt that I have a whole life ahead of me. This that happened shouldn't define me.
True.
You understand?
Okay.
So I think that is what, and thank God that it happened that way. It happened that those things were there. Because if it wasn't there, there are so many things that I wouldn't have unlocked. They
By
would have
yourself.
stayed locked. Yeah. So thank God all of those came to play.
Mm.
So that's
Okay,
just
so
it.
yeah, so did you think that it also affected your ability to get married on time when you were ready for marriage? Did guys see you as no, 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 this is a no-go area because she already has a child, or was it easy for you to find someone, you know, to marry? What was your experience like?
Okay, there are so many things I didn't see. There are so many things I didn't see. Probably if I had seen them, it would have been a setback for me. But there are some things that I didn't see. So much that I didn't see. Do you understand? Due to the love, due to the support I had, I didn't see
Mm,
some things. Do you understand? And one of
mm,
those things I didn't see was the fact that probably I had a setback not getting married quickly. Because I married at the age of 31, 30, 31, I think. Yeah. And I think so many, in fact, many of my mates that are even still single that do not have what's it called? Do not have children, are still not married yet. Do you understand? So I don't think that, and probably if that came to play, I wasn't seeing it. Do you understand? I didn't see it at all. But I can tell of only just one that I saw. And he said to me, I cannot marry you. I cannot have you not have sex with me. Do you understand? Because at some point I just made up my mind when I met with God truly, when I
mm,
knew him truly. I just made up my mind there wasn't going to be any premarital sex. Am I right? So I
yeah.
was celibate for a very long time till I got to marry. I was celibate all through the time. And the person that I met before my husband told me, if you can't have sex with me, then and you have a child, then I can't get married to you because not you not having sex with me and you having a baby. Why now? That's selfishness and all. That was the only one I saw. You understand? So
Mm,
so that was the only one I saw. And I think God was with me. I think God was with me. By the time when I met my husband now, he said, it was the second day I told him, you can't get married to me. Oh. Like people would always say, Lola, you can't get married to a single guy. You would rather get married to a divorcee
Mm.
or somebody who has a wife at home. That's what I've always heard. But then when he came, I said, you can't marry me. Do you understand? You can't marry me because I have a child. And he said, I can remember what he said. He said, so, you understand? So, and I said, hey, are you sure? It is you that you are saying no now. What about your parents? What about the people around you? He said it doesn't matter. So that was it for
And,
me.
and the rest is history now because you guys are married
Yeah,
even with a kid. So we thank
yeah.
God for that. Okay, so what advice would you give to young people, whose parents have also trained them and told them, see, oh, don't get involved in premarital sex, don't get involved sexually to a man that you are not yet married to, and they will not listen. I've seen cases of young ladies who have died, and I mean teenagers, young ladies who have died in the course of trying to commit an abortion, because when their
Oh,
parents are telling them,
terrible.
don't do this, don't do that, they will not listen. Peer pressure. Then some of them are adventurous, they want to try things out, but they don't know that, see, the time is not right yet. You are not ripe for all of this. So what advice do you
Mhm.
have such young people? Because it's not as easy as you are saying it now. When you were going through all these things, you could not talk like this, you could
I'm
not
telling
lift
you.
your head up. I'm sure when you were walking on the road, you'll be walking with your head down, because it's not really a
Yeah,
thing to be proud of. So
proud of
what
you.
advice would you give to those young people?
Please do not go into it. It's not something you want to go into at all. It's not something you want to experience. The
Mm,
stigma is there. Do you
that,
understand? The stigma is there. It's not something you want. I don't pray for you to go into it. Honestly, it's a tough thing. It is tough thing. If you're not strong, and I mean strong in God, you won't be able to walk through it. Though it has
mm,
so many disadvantages. It has so
mm,
many disadvantages, especially if if you don't get the support that I got, if you don't get the love that I got,
mm,
because you can't compare my situation with yours.
that's true.
So it is not easy.
and
It is
and they
not
may not
easy.
be, yeah, and they may not be so lucky to find like a single guy to
I'm
settle
telling
down
you,
with
in fact,
them.
my friends used to say something, Lola, you are blessed. God loves you. Do you understand? It is just luck. It
Mm,
is just grace. Do you understand? You might not be as lucky as I am. I won't, if I, because I am lucky, because I'm blessed, because I'm everything, like people would always say, and like what I have always seen, because I'm into this, I wouldn't advise anybody.
mm,
I don't advise anybody to go into it. Please, I am begging you, do not,
mm,
do not.
mm. So
This
it's
road
actually, yeah,
I am in, not for the
yeah,
faint-hearted. It's
I
not
know.
something you want.
It's a
Yeah.
rough path, actually. It's not a path
Ah,
that anyone should want
do
to
not.
tread. Okay,
This
so
is not
thank
one of the challenges you should go through as a young lady.
Exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's better for people to remain focused, especially young people. Be focused. The
Young
truth is,
people, yeah.
when the time comes, you will get married in an honorable way and you'll be able to have
Yeah.
as much sex as you want. The honest truth is, it will get to a point you will be tired of it. You will see it as, this is it money? It's not generating revenue
Yeah.
for, let me be for now.
Abby,
So why trying
yeah.
to to get
Why rush into?
in the heart. I mean, you don't need it. Okay, so we are wrapping up now. So just tell us in few minutes, okay, so what do you do now? And what do you do now? What are your aspirations for your life or your business? And I mean, just talk to us generally so that people know that, oh, despite the fact that such thing has happened to you, you still have dreams, you are still pursuing your goals. It's not
Yeah.
leprosy, or it's not a state of disability that you now pack up your life and say, oh, at this point, I'm not going to dream again, I'm not going to do anything again. No, that is not the case. For you,
Yeah.
you have to get
Not the
up,
case.
and keep
Mm-hmm.
running, which is
Yeah.
what you do. So just tell us, so what do you do? What are your aspirations, your dreams? Just speak generally.
Okay. I'm a lingerie consultant. It has always been something I've always wanted to do, and when I got the opportunity, I I pitched my tent in it, and I'm growing it. Thank God. I'm an intimacy expert. I run an online store. Ha! Louis! Ìṣe ni fóònù mi kú.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the broadcast today. I guess something went wrong there, but thank God we are done. So, like she said, she's into lingerie. She's a consultant for lingerie. So, in case you need someone to consult for you concerning your underwears, you could contact her. I think she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. Her name is Funmilila Benco-Okoye. You can look out for her and she'll be glad to assist you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I remain your host, Moralaya and Oputi. Till we meet again. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button. Till we meet again, I say bye bye.